Welcome to the Females Across the Pond and Beyond podcast. Hi, I'm Clara.
Hi, I'm Angie. We're here to share all things email and beyond. We go through the trials and tribulations of running your own business, being your own boss, and sending your own email marketing.
As email marketing experts, we're dedicated to helping small businesses thrive so they can have more freedom in their business.
Ready to get started? Let's dive into the episode. Hi, everyone. Back for another episode of Females Across the Pond and Beyond. I am personally so excited for this episode. The best kept secret of email marketing, at least right now in 2024. I begged Clara to do this episode because I was like, this is working with my clients and everybody needs to be doing this. So I'm really excited. But before we get into that, I want to hear a little update, Clara, on what's been going on with you. We're rounding out the end of Q3 almost, at least like when we're recording this right now, and heading into Q4, which is typically the busiest season for us. So giddy
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I feel like I've worked really hard this year to this point, and I think I was getting to the point where I was burning out just before the summer. I don't know if anyone else feels like that, but when you run your own business, as you all know, and you enjoy what you do, it's quite hard to remind yourself to take breaks, and it's really important.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I desperately needed a holiday, and I've had a couple of weeks away in Greece, and it's been lovely. And I really needed it. I really needed it. And I think we are fools if we believe that we're machines. We're not. We
Yes.
actually do need to unplug, switch off, delete, or put your out of office on. Like, you need to kind of just have that moment to reconnect. And just even being on a beach for me was just wonderful to feel quite grounded again, because you feel like when you take on a lot of work, it can just really eat into your well-being. Does that make sense to
Absolutely.
you? Can you relate?
Oh my. Yes. Clara and I literally were just talking about this before we popped on that we are going through the exact same thing in our businesses. We both worked really hard. We've had the best years in our businesses so far. We're getting so many clients. Things are going so well. And as much as we're grateful for that, we also feel it. Like we feel so tired. And like for me, I was feeling like unmotivated. I didn't know there were a lot of times where I was like, I don't know if I even want to grow this even more because I'm just so exhausted right now, or I don't know if I want another client if somebody came to me. And I think for me, I've been writing it out. You went to Greece. I love that you did that. I wish I could go to Greece. But two, I just was home and I just kind of did my client work. And after doing my client work for the day, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get off the computer, shut it down, go read a book, go hang out outside. I just got a new patio.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, just like even just sitting out there and, taking some space away from the business, that's felt really right to me. And to be honest, I'm still not quite there as far as like my motivation goes to get back into things and be searching for clients or whatever I need to do to bring in more money. But just going to listen to my body and trust that things will come. But I need to be in a headspace to accept good things and to continue forward in my business in order to, I don't know, in order to grow, in order to see out Q4. So I'm still just like relaxing and hanging out because that feels right.
Yeah, and it's completely normal. I feel the same. And I think it's about acclimatizing into Q4 and going in with the right mindset. I think if we keep working at 100 miles an hour, we're just going to make ourselves ill, and no one wants that. We want to show up as our best selves for the businesses we run. So it's just about reminding ourselves, and even if we have to like physically put reminders in our diaries to say, take breaks and don't feel guilty about taking time out. You need a break. This could be a whole other episode, I feel, because so many people, so many of us struggle with taking enough breaks. But yeah, I mean, really, the question for all of you is, how are you feeling as we enter the start of the last quarter of the year, Q4? It's quite a nice time. We've got Halloween coming up. I find that autumn, fall for you, Angie, is beautiful, all the
Yeah.
colors, and it starts to prepare us for winter. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
There's definitely been an uptick I'm seeing with my clients too in orders. I mean, as we all know, summer can be pretty slow, especially August. So that's also kind of reinvigorated my passion and motivation is to, see more coming in as far as
Definitely.
movement and sales. And it's been a tough year for a lot of businesses. And I'm looking forward to, all of us getting a little bit of a reprieve with this fall season and the holiday season, of course. So if you're feeling burnt out like us, it's totally okay.
Yeah.
um,
We're
it's
here.
okay to take time
Uh,
off.
yeah, don't feel guilty. And if you haven't had a break yet,
Take
take
one.
the break.
Take
Take the break.
it.
You
Yes.
deserve it.
But let's get into the episode. I want to talk a little bit about, how maybe you can find some more passion inside of your email marketing. Maybe this
Mm,
episode will help you to feel a little bit more inspired. If you're like us, you haven't really felt inspired and marketing your business has been a struggle.
mm,
Maybe this episode will help reignite that fire.
mm,
So the reason that, again, as I said, we wanted to have this episode is because, at least for me and my clients, these types of emails have really been doing well, especially in the past year, maybe even 2 years. And that is just having more authenticity inside of your email marketing. And we're going to get into like, what the heck does that even mean? Because that's such a vague and general term. We could also say having more of a human connection with your subscribers, a one-to-one connection, more like you're emailing a friend and you're emailing one friend, one subscriber, instead of just sending these mass emails,
mm,
maybe even HTML designed emails that aren't really, I don't know, just as personal as
mm,
maybe a letter style email. So that's really what I'm talking about here when I talk about authenticity, is incorporating more letters from the owner, from the team, or just like more behind the scenes from the team. Um, Clara, you want to speak to any of that?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one because service providers, we tend to be talking from our point of view anyway, but we
Yeah.
don't necessarily see that with products, e-commerce type businesses. And it's interesting actually, because I was saying this to you earlier, Angie, that I had a client that I recommended this approach to, where they show the human side of their brand, because they've got this, they're kind of more of a scale up. Um, and they said, oh no, we're past that phase. And I actually think, and I disagree with that. I think it's good to show the human side of your brand, regardless of where you are in terms of the stage of your business. Because we all want to connect in some way with a brand. We want to find that we resonate with the brand. And it's actually the people behind the brand that we want to connect with. It's not the logo or the colors on the website. It's the people that run the business that are behind the scenes, the founder. We want to hear from those people.
Yeah. And I think, a lot of when I'm thinking about strategies or trying new things for my clients, I look at what's going on in the marketing world, what's going on like even in the world at large, right? I know, as far as like from my point of view, being a millennial, we're feeling a little bit overwhelmed and, I don't know, upset about corporate America and like these big businesses, especially with the price gouging and everything that's been going on with the economy. And feeling like these big brands, we don't know who's behind them. They're
Mm,
faceless, and it feels like we're disconnected from them. They're disconnected from our reality, what's going on with us, and we're disconnected from them. And then I look at like TikTok, you know, like what's big on TikTok, or why is TikTok such a big sensation? It's because normal everyday people like just get on a video and say what's going on in their life, and everyone can relate, and they just go viral. And like this human connection is just having a moment right now. I feel like everywhere that
Definitely.
I look. And I think that that does absolutely trickle down into emails, and why emails like we're talking about are also having a moment, because people are craving more connection with other people, and with the brands that they are purchasing from. Like, because of the economy and what's been going on in the world, we want to spend our money wisely. We want to spend the money with brands that we care about, and also have the same values and mission, and who we feel like really understands us.
Mm.
And we build that connection. Like, how am I supposed to build that connection with a brand that's just, you know, a colors and a logo, you know, that might
Yeah.
only take us so far. Whereas, like, if you're showing me like who's running the social media account, and, you know, what they're doing and their opinion on what's going on in their industry, that is much more interesting, you know, than any of the other type of content I'm seeing from big brands.
Yeah, 100%. And I think when we buy into a brand, the story behind why the business was set up is always really intriguing, because there's usually something that's happened in the founder's life, or some reason to create their business in the first place. And they may talk about it at the start of the business and then, expand their business. But I think you should always be talking about your
Yes.
personal story, because it forms part of your mission and the values of the business. And then it also, if you think about it, it's going to attract more people that you want to work for your business that are similar in values. So this is about how to communicate your values through email, or in a consistent way, not just a one-off, but in a consistent way where, yeah, we're the same in the UK. We have so many brands that are faceless, and they become so big, we don't know who the people are now behind the brand. I think the really successful businesses are those that aren't afraid to show their face. And I
Yeah.
don't mean necessarily just showing your face. I mean talking about your stories, talking about who you are. I think it's
How
a
you came
huge
up with a product, like
yeah,
why did you create this product, you know? That type
yeah,
of stuff may seem like, you know, something that you just sweep under the rug, but that's the type of stuff that people then really make a connection with. That's how they make a connection with the products, because they
yeah.
see, you
And
know,
that
oh, they created
yeah,
it for a reason, you know, and for me, right?
exactly. And they resonate with it, and then they realize that actually this is a product that I completely understand, why you've created it. It sparks a conversation which doesn't happen when it's a one-way discussion.
Right.
So having your personal stories, having a conversation, see email as one way to help you do that. One way that you can communicate with your audience and share with them, what's going on in your business. It could be that you've had to make a difficult decision. It could be that you've had some big success recently. People love to hear that. People love to hear what's going on with your business.
Yeah. And they
So
don't, and not even just the good stuff.
yeah.
I had a client a couple weeks ago. We sent an email that we were very scared to send, where they were
Mhm.
saying how they were going to have to shut down a part of their business because of what's going on in the economy. I didn't have any CTAs in that email. I had no links in that email. And that email, I mean, we got so many orders from that email, way more. I mean, I want to say at least 300% more revenue than we normally get
Wow,
from an
that's
email.
amazing. Yeah.
And it's not that we were not looking for orders. We were literally just looking to communicate and let them know, hey, like, you know, we're making some changes, and it's going to affect, you know, our business, and we want to be honest about it. And just even letting them in on that stuff garnered so many orders. People just really respond to authenticity, you know, and
Yeah.
letting them in on what's going on.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, your business doesn't operate in a vacuum. Like, you are operating in an environment with other people. You've got suppliers, you've got contractors, customers, clients. And, we're not necessarily saying that you have to tell them absolutely everything about your
Right.
personal life, because there are
Hmm.
boundaries here. But when it comes to having that integrity that you want to have with your business, where you're sharing, what's coming up, what's been really tough right now in your business, what help do you need? It might be that you're asking for feedback, you're asking for them to give you their thoughts on something. So showing up as a human is really easy, but we can forget to do that as business owners, particularly product-based businesses.
Yeah. So let's get into how do you write an email like you're emailing a friend, or like your subscribers on the other side are someone that you are having, a one-to-one relationship with, a friendship with, you know? How do you make it more personal? What would you say, Clara?
This is a really good question, and I think a lot of us worry about how to approach this. And one tip I have is that if you think about one of your favorite clients that you've recently spoken to, or even if it's not in a while, and write for them, give them, sit down and write a letter as if you're writing just to that client. It can be friendly. You don't need to suddenly become very formal if you're not. Keep it in flow with who you are. Um, and, just don't allow yourself to, make changes. Just write what comes to mind and then see how it flows. Um, but think about what the goal is of the email as well. I'll always say that,
Mm.
is it that you're updating people on a change in your business? Is it that you want to give people behind the scenes look? Is it that um, you're about to release a new range? So think about it in terms of, what do you want people to learn as a result of receiving this email?
Yeah, I think it always goes back to, what are your goals for the month? What are you selling? What are you hoping to achieve as far as your marketing goals? And then working backward and being like, okay, like for example, if I'm launching a new product, how can I create this one-to-one connection in line that I know that I'm launching a new product? So it could be again like going back to, okay, why did we create this product? Or what does this product mean to me personally? Or
That's nice.
just anything that you think like gives, or like your opinion on the industry and the other products out there that may be a little off the cuff, or like a little nerve-wracking to kind of talk about, but those are the types of things that people really respond to. So yeah, I would always go back to what are the bigger goals of your marketing, of your email marketing for that month, and then maybe see like what are 2 emails I can send this month that touch on a sort of personal connection with my subscribers. It's not like you have to do this all the time, but I think it's something you should definitely strive to sprinkle in here and there. And like some of my clients, we've realized, these type of emails are our best performing emails. Even if it's not launching a sale or something like that, sometimes it brings in more revenue, just, the letter style connection email. And then, okay, if you're reading the analytics and you see that it's working, you see your audience likes it, then amp it up, send more of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, 100%. I was just thinking about another example of what you could do that worked really well for one of my clients last year. She is a vegan fashion brand, love her branding, her products. But she did a video of her working with the factories to produce the vegan leather made from grape. I never knew you could
Wow.
make it from grape.
That's
Um,
cool.
it's so cool. And so she did a whole video behind the scenes, and they showed them making the grape, like, the whole process, which is fascinating because you wouldn't know what goes into it unless you're close to it. So the behind the scenes look at things is a really interesting one, where you can just do a short video and then explain, my day at the grape factory. Um, Along those lines can be really cool. And another one is receiving a heartfelt testimony that's, really um, made you reflect as a business owner. So it could be that someone has used your product or service and it's changed their life in some way. Now, not all products and services are going to be game changers in your clients' lives, but at least it's helping them solve a problem that they had. And to receive these testimonials can be everything for us as business owners. So you could even share a testimony and give your opinion on that, and how lovely is that to receive? So there's so many ways that you can connect through email in what's happening in your business right now.
And for service providers that are like, okay, well, I'm not selling a product and I do like write emails from myself. I think one thing that, to keep in mind is more storytelling,
Yeah.
more emails that are about, last month or 3 days ago, I was walking down the road and take people on a journey with you and tie it back into how a lesson that it taught you or can teach your subscribers about your services or about your industry and things like that. We all know that storytelling is powerful, but I think in my inbox, I still see a lot of us missing the mark on it. We think we're like telling stories. So I would really, challenge you to tell more stories. Don't be afraid to go deeper and talk, about things that are actually happening to you, with your clients. I love hearing, client stories from my peers. It helps me to see, oh, if I were to work with you, this is what, my life would look like, and, things like that. What would you say?
Yeah.
Would you say anything else to service providers?
Don't be afraid to share what's not working in your business. Now, this won't be for everyone, I understand. But sometimes it can be a great way just to show that you are human and you're real. And that
Yeah.
actually, you know what, all of us at some point, things don't necessarily, not everything is going to work, not everything is going to be a success. We do have either big failures or mini failures. And you might feel that actually you want to share your learnings with other people on your email list. Again, this isn't for everyone, but it can be a brilliant way to build that trust and rapport with your audience and show that actually you're human, and these things are sent to try us, but how you maybe have overcome those struggles. So there's so many different ways you can connect with your audience, and it's really reflecting on what is it you want to share. But Angie, let's find out actually, where do they start? So where in all of this would you even get started?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've kind of talked about, the campaign strategy a little bit, working backwards from your goals to, how can I incorporate this into my product launch or into my normal everyday campaigns if I'm looking to, launch a course or whatever it is. But I would also don't forget about your flows. That's something that we haven't really talked about, is how can I even do this in my welcome flow, in
Mm.
my abandoned cart flows, and my post purchase flows. I am still again seeing these types of emails. Now I've been A/B testing this because that it's been working with our campaigns. So definitely the first thing I would do is do it with the campaigns, try the strategy based on what your goals are, start sprinkling them in here and there. And if they are doing well, start to test them inside your flows as well, because that's what I've been doing for my client. We're testing them for our abandoned cart flows and for our browse abandonment flows. And with the A/B tests that we've been running, they have been performing better than the HTML design emails. Now, I don't know if that's going to be like the same for your brand and for your business. Again, it's something that we have to test, but it's just, it's solidified again, like at least our audiences are reacting to this. So, which is really interesting because typically abandoned cart or like browse abandonment flows, and they have, the pictures of what someone was looking at or what was in their cart. And we're finding that actually emails with no pictures and like letter style and just a really easy CTA, quick and to the point, are outperforming in those areas as well.
That's amazing. And I think, yeah, it's good to think about different formats as to where you tell your story. The
Yeah.
easiest is your newsletters, but be threading it through other types of flows like your welcome sequence, because you want people to get to know you as a founder, as a business owner. I mean, there's so many ways to to share your story. But, how do
Yeah.
we, I mean, like, I guess the question is, like, how do we get the balance right? Because it's very easy to overshare, maybe in some cases. And how do we protect our, I guess it's ensuring we have the boundaries in place. Like, how do we get that right, do you think?
I think that we just go by the data, right? Like
Mm.
at the end of the day, um, it's all about what the audience wants to hear about and what they react to, what gets the most opens, what gets the most clicks. And we also know in this same vein that people do, they like copy that talks to them, that always comes back to teaching them a lesson or giving them some sort of value or educating them. So I think as you dip your toe into being authentic, telling more of your personal stories, always thinking about, but how does this benefit my subscriber from reading this? How does this
Yeah,
help them?
yeah,
So maybe always have that like in a sticky note or somewhere where you are writing your email copy so that you are always keeping at the forefront that at the end of the day, this email isn't for me, it's for the person on the other end. And I want to make sure I am serving them because I think as long as you are serving them and they are clicking on it and they are reacting to it, then okay, like then I'm on the right track, right? As far as how is this performing or like how comfortable do I feel?
yeah.
So I feel like, at the end of the day, it's always data that gives you the best information on
Yeah,
how
and look,
how things are.
we're not asking you to publish your journals, your private journals here.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't feel you have to reveal everything in email. This is about how you build connection, and your comfort level is important as well. Like, you might want to test out with one story and see how that works.
yeah,
We're not suggesting by any means that you reveal all that's going on in your life and actually becomes reams and reams and reams of pages and pages of your inner feelings.
yeah,
We want to get the balance right. At the end of the day, how will this help your audience? What
yeah,
learnings are you passing on to them? Or what do you want to communicate? What's the goal?
yeah.
Um,
Because
so
that's the line that you ride, like as you're saying, like that's where we could take it and possibly kind of go too deep into it, is if we don't tie it back to our subscriber and we are just sending them like a rant or like a journal entry or like something that you would like maybe send a voice memo to your friend on,
yeah,
so yeah.
yeah. And I think you're going to know when as
Yeah,
Angie
you
said,
feel
you're
it,
going to see
right?
and you're going to see the results of the email. Like, are
Mhm.
people interested? Are they, you may even get people respond, which is brilliant. And if that happens, that's a wonderful thing. Um, so see how, try out different ways of telling your story and see how people react.
Yeah. And then as far as long-term impact, how do we think this more authentic email strategy can help your brand and business in the long term, Clara?
Well, they say it takes 7 touches or touch points between you and your potential client before they decide to work with you. So in many cases, unless your product is, a low cost product, in which case people may buy instantly, it takes some time for people to build the trust and rapport with you, in the sense that they've decided they want to work with you. So see these types of emails as ways to give someone an insight of what it would be like to work with you, who you are as a person. Most of the time, actually, when people want to work with you, it's because of who you are and what you stand
Yeah.
for. Over and above what your business is, you're kind of tied into that. Of course, the product or service that you offer is integral, but you are also very important in that decision. So I think if you think about a lot of those decisions taking months or even years in some cases, depending on how expensive your services are or your products, um, this is all about building connection with your audience, but also encouraging them to come back. So once they've had a great experience with you, they still want to continue to buy from you because they've built a relationship with you and you have with them. So don't see this as I'm going to send a personal story tomorrow and I'm going to expect loads of sales and then that's it. See this as the long road in terms of building those longer term relationships that can be really lucrative for you in the long run because people are coming back because they want to hear from you.
Yeah, and we just had this conversation where I personally, I find that the people who follow me, maybe on Instagram, who are on my email list, who maybe even listen to this podcast and, have consumed my content, they kind of know who I am and they know kind of how I operate and what to expect. And I find that those clients for me are the best. Because like they've already, even though like I may not have established that connection with them, they have already established connection with me and they have already realized that, I can deliver what it is that they want, or they think that they would like working with me. And for some reason, I feel like we have a stronger connection and a better relationship, moving forward in a client to contractor relationship as well.
Yeah.
And I think as far as like, if you're thinking of it in e-commerce, again, people want to buy from brands that they feel like, they know the people behind them. So, a lot of it with e-commerce, they could probably buy a similar product from another brand. Why buy yours? Well, we know that about one of the buyer types is the amiable buyer, is the buyer that does buy because they like the person or they like the brand. So this definitely hits on that amiable buyer that all of us kind of have a little bit of inside of us.
Yeah, people buy from people, right? And I've always
Right.
felt that whenever I've onboarded new clients, it's usually because in some shape or form, I've connected with them beforehand. They've come to see me speak, or we've spoken on social media or through email, or referred. Like there's a number of different ways. But it's often that people have made the decision already, or they're close to deciding to work with you because they've got to know you first. And to see email as an opportunity for all of those people that don't yet know you to build that relationship with them at scale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we hope that this has maybe inspired you to strategize, maybe the next few emails that you're going to send and sprinkle an authentic, email to a friend, or something about what's really going on. Again, we gave you so many ideas. Take one of those that feels right for you, that you feel like I can do that, and give yourself a time limit, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Write a crappy first draft, just spill it out as if you were sitting across from your number one client or customer that you know really well, that you can help them with something, and send it and see how it does. And we hope that you get the same results as our clients have been getting.
Yeah, and I love the tip about just keep it to 30 minutes. Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Just write it and see what happens, and you'll know from the results you see and the responses you get. And if you don't get such a great response, then try again. Don't give up. Keep trying, because before you know it, people will start to see your emails and really start to connect. So this could take a little time, but you've got to try it. You've got to try it.
Yeah, practice makes better, right? And the only way that we get better is by doing it. We say this all of the time. The only way to get better with sending emails is by sending more emails.
Yes.
So
100%.
Go send those emails.
Send it.
Okay, I've loved this conversation. This is one of my favorite topics. I'm so glad that we covered it. If you have any more questions about, how to be more authentic in your emails or how to write more personalized emails, contact us, email us, DM us. Let's talk about it. This is such an exciting topic. And I can't wait to see, what it does for your business.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you. And we'll see you on the next episode.
You've just listened to Females Across the Pond and Beyond podcast with your hosts, Clara and Angie. If you like our content, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on the platform of your choice. Is there something you want to hear about for our next episode? Email us at femalesacrossthepond@gmail.com to let us know. Until next time.